Hello, guys. Welcome to What's She Doing Ministries. I am so Ronica, and I am so ready to remind you to sow into your future. So, here on today's episode of Sow Into Your Future, I am sowing into mine by watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Y'all, Beverly Hills, season 1. So I'm just going to go over the things that stood out on season 1, episode 1. Okay. We have a group of ladies. They're all very wealthy. They all are married except for one, which is Kim. We have one that appears to have like a perfect marriage. And I say that's Camille and Fraser / Kelsey Grammer. And I say it was a perfect marriage because they seem so in sync. You know, they had 13 years of marriage under their belt. And then I get this surprise when she's on the tennis court. And I don't know, maybe it was the editing because sometimes, these shows, they can be very shady and manipulative and crafty. And they can edit some stuff to look like, oh, okay, every clip they show of this person, she's flirtatious, you know. But then some of it is like, okay, this can't just be the editing because you actually said this. You actually did this. We actually see you kissing these people. And we actually see your eyes rolling back in your head when you're hugging these men. Now, I'm not one to judge. I'm not. Whatever stronghold you battling, whatever God need to deliver you from, whatever you need to seek the face of God to get help with, I don't have a heaven or hell to put nobody in. But it is visibly noticeable that Fraser's not by her side, and that the men that are by her side, especially her friend Eric, I don't know. It comes across wrong on camera. That's what I'm going to say there. Let's see. So then we have the two sister element of it all. And Kyle is an OG. For those who are new to my channel, I started off watching season 14, the reunion. When they was like, Garcelle walked off, I was like, what? So I watched it and I was like, well, it was so good. I was like, let me go back, start, from the beginning. And so Garcelle's not in the beginning, but I'm gonna watch it till I get to that point. I'm invested at this point. But so Kyle was around from day one, and her sister, bless her heart, something just tugs at my heartstrings about her sister, because when you're a child actor, like I can imagine you go through so much, and just the lack of normalcy that most people have in their life. You don't have that foundation of realness. So it's kind of like she doesn't know what to do in certain situations because she hasn't been in those situations. While we always getting practice with life, she was on a set going over her lines. So I think it's sad that she ends up having an issue with alcohol. And I say that because of something that I've seen in like different clips or whatever. You know how they show you different clips to get you interested in seeing that? Well, it works. It worked. Let's see. Taylor's situation. Taylor is from Oklahoma and she comes across as very, I want to say on one hand, extremely insecure. And then on another hand, she just seems like a realist because she's like, oh, he can leave me any day for a 21-year-old. Something like that. And it's like, that's true though. That's true. And he definitely gave off that type of vibe because when they were sitting at the table and she was like, oh, I see you invested, because of this magazine, I see that you invested like, I think it was 5 or 10 million. It was a nice amount of money that he had invested in a woman's company without Taylor knowing about it. And he was just like, he just kept, I think, stirring his coffee or mixing his eggs or something he was doing. It did not faze him. While a normal husband, you know what I'm saying, that actually feels like he has something to lose because he loves his wife, he's going to be like, babe, I knew you would be upset about this, and this is why I did. You know what I'm saying? This is time for you to explain your case. But he didn't do that. He was just like, my money, my ways, my rules. You don't like it, there's a door type situation. He didn't say that, but that was the vibe that I was getting. So, but Taylor, you know what I'm saying, she was taking it out on his bank account when she was going shopping. Or maybe that's what she always spends. I don't know. But the prices on them clothes, I was just like, Lord have mercy. Anyway, so then we have I don't know, the main story that I was really invested in is Camille's story. Like I said, the luxury life that she's living, and it is fascinating, you know, after watching Real Housewives of Atlanta and seeing how they get down and how they do things. It's fascinating to see how these women uh come to agreement and get over their hurdles, and you know what I'm saying, mend their fences, and even how they argue. I love how Camille, she sipped her drink after she had enough of the bickering with the ladies and stuff. She sips her drink and she's looking at him, making eye contact, and then she's like rising up from the table and she's like, "Okay, I've had enough for the night. Ladies, you have a good evening and bye." Like there was no security, didn't have to be called. It wasn't no, and I'm not saying that they're more classier, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying rich people definitely have more to lose, than people who are fighting in Popeyes. It's like, brand deals, people who know people. They don't want to be associated with you. I'm just gonna conduct myself. Not to say I was ever one that would fight in Popeyes, but maybe Walmart. Okay. Down the frozen food aisle. Snatch your wig off. No, I'm just playing. Um, but anyway, it's different to see how people carry themselves, because Real Housewives of Atlanta, they rich too. Okay, they all got the purses and the this and the that. But the fact that Adrian is walking all the way across the street to get to her neighbor's house, Lisa, it looked like it was, because of how big the mansions are. It's almost like I feel like she should have a golf cart or some type of scooter. I just, especially in heels, it ain't like it's, what I'm saying, go next door and borrow some sugar type thing. Like you walking all the way down these steps, all the way through this yard, through the gate, but that's neither here nor there. On the plane, Kyle is me and I am Kyle, because I've only been on a plane like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. And every time I'm on the plane, tears come out. No matter how much I try not to. All I'm thinking about is all the stuff that I've seen on the news about planes. You know what I'm saying? You feel the turbulence, you hear the roar of the engine, and they was on a jet. They was on a private jet. So I can imagine that that's even more of like robust robust. I don't know. The sound is like crazy, like a rocket ship type stuff. But and they both the sisters, Kyle and Kim, they was on there praying. I don't know who they was praying to, but they was on there praying. And I don't know, that's me. I'm like, well, don't try to talk to me while we going up or when we coming down. Like these are some pivotal points. These are some important places in the flight. And I need to be making sure my soul is right with the Lord, Jesus Christ. Let's see. Kyle's husband. Can he have a whole segment of this video to himself? No. I think that to find out that later on they are no longer together in season 14, I was like, I gotta find out. I'm gonna watch it, y'all, and find out how that happened, because she put on this black dress. This wasn't episode 1. This was, I think, episode 4 or 5 or something. And he was like, she came around that corner and he was like, "Ooh, babe, you look fabulous. You look nice. Like, I like that." Like, he came alive after seeing her in that black dress. But to a woman, that black dress, to other women, you walk in a party with that on. It was Taylor's birthday, matter of fact. You walk into a party with that on, they're gonna be like, "Oh, she doing too much. Oh, she's, one of those." They're gonna judge you for it. My husband, he likes to buy me these mid-thigh dresses. I forget the name of them, but Ann Taylor, I don't know. That wasn't it. But it's a certain type with cape sleeves, and he know I don't like cape sleeves, and I don't like my mid-thigh to show. But he's like, that's not a, he thinks it's, anyway. Men don't realize that women have to conduct themselves a certain way around other women, or else them other women gonna be looking at you like you're doing too much. It doesn't take all of that. And the other women will separate themselves from you. Okay. We don't want that. But Kyle, he liked what he liked. I can tell. So maybe that's it. Maybe she was a little bit too reserved or conservative, or maybe some huzzy walked past. I don't know. I'm going to get to the bottom of why they not together. Not like it's any of my business. Some people they don't like these shows because they feel like it's just too messy. They feel like it's too, you know, the mouth of the wicked devour iniquity. That is what scripture says. But I look at it as reality shows are super interesting because this is really how people are dealing with conflict. This is really what makes these people cry. This is really what makes them laugh. This is really how they get down. And that brings me to Lisa Vanderbilt. Lisa Vanderbilt, I felt like she was probably the messiest one of them all because she was the one stirring the pot. She was the one manipulating everything behind the scenes, talking about, I just want to get to the bottom of it. Talking about bringing up old stuff. Like Kyle and Camille, they had already made up, and said their I'm sorry like four times. And here comes Lisa. Well, you know what? I thought about it and it still bothers me. So I felt like Taylor was the one who initiated it. And I'm just like, girl, you're the oldest one. If she's not, she looks it. And I'm just like, you need to be the one with being the voice of reason. And I really like that Adrian, this is not episode one. I'm almost done, babe. This is not episode one, but I'm just going to, jump ahead a little bit. But at the Taylor's birthday party, I like that Adrian was able to look at the two sisters arguing and she was able to say, yeah, not right now. Not right now. She was just, she could tell the lady was drunk. She could tell the lady was not all there. There were some underlying issues. But so yeah, and that's sad because two sisters, y'all shouldn't want y'all's family to look like that in public. Y'all shouldn't want to be the rowdy bunch.